But yeah, so this is what it looks like. So how you get here, really, really simple. If you've not been here yet, go to reporting and click on Report Builder. The first screen you will see is this, create your first report. And you've got two options, create a blank report. So like I said, we'll go through that in the second half, and then start from a template, which is what we'll go through now. Now, if you click start from a template, you'll see there are already 3 templates in there. Now you can create your own templates, which we'll probably touch upon in the second half. But for the moment, we've already created 3 templates that all you guys should have access to. So if you don't have access to them, there's no reason we shouldn't. If you don't, please do let me know, because then I'll pass it on to the developers. And there's 3 reports that I've created. The first 2 reports, you've got SEO Report Expert and SEO Report Lite. They're both, as they're kind of described, they're reports that focus really just on SEO data. The Expert one's just more in depth. It's got more pages. It includes more data in there. The Lite one is just as it says, really, it's just lighter. There's less data in there. It's a little bit less heavy. So whichever one you want to use, have a play with both. I do predict that none of these will be perfect for you, because reporting is such a personal thing, right? Reporting, whether it's to your colleagues at your own business or reporting to clients, everyone has a different way of reporting. And I think that's where templates work really nicely, because you can create a report from a template and then edit it, and then create a template from that edited report, which is probably the best way to do it. But it's a good starting base, right? It's a good place to kind of go, okay, these has got all the fundamental bits I need. Now I'll just add and remove, chop and change, etc., etc. So they're the 2 SEO reports. We also have a digital marketing report, all channels. This is very similar to the SEO Report Expert. So it's got a lot of SEO data in there, but it also pulls through other channels. So because we connect up to Google Analytics, so that's kind of a prerequisite really for using this tool, make sure you've got Google Analytics connected. It works for both GA3 and GA4. GA4 has a couple of less widgets because GA4 is slightly different in the way Google have built it. We will look to build it out over time, but it's slightly less, only tiny, like maybe like less than 5% of what you'll get on GA3, but just to let heads up on that one. So yeah, the digital marketing report doesn't just include SEO data. We pull through like paid data, social data, email data, etc. So if you want to send something to the client that's not just SEO, because I know a lot of you do SEO plus other stuff, right? Then that's kind of perfect for you. What I will do is let's just run through the SEO Report Expert. It's kind of like the nice middle ground. I can create that report, show you how to edit it, etc. And then the light one is just a little bit less. The digital marketing report is just a little bit more. So pretty straightforward. So, okay, so choose the template that you want. Click next. Okay, first up, your settings. So it's just this little screen here. There's 3 parts. There's the report settings, the header settings, and the footer settings. So the report name is just what it's called within the platform. So I'm just going to call it SEO report. Okay. Then you can choose your paper size, your page orientation. So whether you want it to be portrait or landscape. I'm just going to choose portrait for this. All of the templates are built in portrait. So if you do select landscape, you'll probably see that the styling doesn't work very well. You might have to adjust it. Then the font. So this is the font that will apply across all the text within the all the text and all the tables, etc. You see you've got a selection there. I like DM Sans. It's kind of my favorite. And then you've got date range. So really, really simple to select a date range. You know, you can either click up here and select the date range, or you can type it in there, or you can use some of the presets, right? We've tried to copy Google Analytics for this, you know, there's no point reinventing the wheel here. So you can choose a custom last week, last month, last 7 days, last 30 days. Also, really important bit here compared to previous. Typically, I don't know about you guys, whenever I do a report for clients historically or our team do now, it's always a comparison date range. It's kind of, you can't really see progress or show a client or show your colleagues progress unless it's comparing against another date, right? I always like to do year on year, but lots of people like to do kind of like previous period. So I'll do previous period, so you can do that. But again, you can go over here and click, but actually, let me just go back and do previous period. It does it for you. So you have really nice date picker there, and then click apply. Report chart colors. So here's where you add in your color of your brand. The template will already have this one in there, but you can add a color here. You can add up to, I believe, 5 colors that will then be used. So like in your graphs, if you've got more than 2 keys, or in your tables, whatever, it will use the first ones first. So yeah, you can add in all your colors in there. Then header settings. First bit of it, upload a logo. What you'll notice if you run a report straight away, there's no logo at the top. It doesn't default to hike. So upload your own logo. So I believe I did, let me see, documents, downloads. Let me just have a quick look, see if I do this. Hike logo, white. There you go, let's try that. Okay, great. So there it adds it in. This is the logo that will appear. So agency users, even if you don't use white label, you can still add your own logo to these reports. And then when you export them, it will have your own logos in there. Then your header text, this is what goes at the top. You can choose your header color, the header text color, the header font, and whether you want it to include date range, which typically is a good thing to do. And then your footer settings. Footer text, sort of thing where you could put your email address and maybe your telephone number. It'll be at the footer of every single report page. And then the color, the text color, and the font and page numbers. These are all preset. It's kind of standard. Then click create. Here's where the demo usually breaks down, right? Amazingly, it hasn't. Well, not so far. And then it says report created successfully. So if anything goes wrong, it will say unsuccessful. Great, try again. But I don't think it's ever happened, even during all my testing. And then click go to report. Okay, great. So this is what the report page looks like. At the top, you've got a link back to your reports. You've got the date range picker. So it's choosing the date range I selected in the settings. You can download it, preview PDF, or you can schedule it, which we'll touch upon in a bit. And this is the template, right? So you see in this template, there's quite a lot of pages, 12 pages. The first page itself, really, really simple. I've just added this little text block where you can put, it's like a cover page, right? Website.com, Seo Report, website.com, created by John Smith. First thing you'll want to do is change that, right? So however, how to change a text block like this, really simple. And it's same for all blocks, all widgets. Hover over these 3 dots, click edit. Okay, now let me change this to hikeseo.co, just so we can do it. There you go. And then change this to hikeseo.co, created by Andy Allen. Now hike, and then press update, and there it is. If you want to change fonts and stuff, it's really simple. So highlight the text that you want, then you've got your font size here. You've got some preset ones, extra small, small, regular, extra large, or custom. I typically use custom. So for this, for example, I use about 65px. And then these, I believe, is just large, or you can use custom. So that's how you change it. You set your font in the settings, which does it for the entire website. But I believe you can, if you wanted to have different fonts throughout a report. I don't know why you'd want to, but you can select different fonts here as well. Alignment, bold, strike through, all your typical kind of WYSIWYG editor stuff is there. So that's a cover page. Second page, you'll see as I'm going through the pages here, you will see it kind of expand out the accordion over there. So page 2, I've created a report outline. So yeah, if you want to edit this, go into edit, you can see it there. Really simple. So you have the ability to add ordered lists or unordered lists. Okay, now if we go to, so actually, let me run through what's in this report. Page or section 1, keyword rankings. Section 2, Google Analytics, looking at all traffic stats. Section 3, Google Analytics, looking specifically at just traffic from SEO. Number 4, Google Search Console stats. Number 5, local SEO. 6, backlinks. And then section 7 and 8, last month's SEO actions. And section 8, this month's SEO actions. So obviously, really important to show the client what you've done last month and what you're going to be doing this month, or show internally to your colleagues what you did last month and what you're doing this month. So added that in as well. So now let's move down. So this is page 3. So you can see on the page 3, all of the different widgets we have here. You can edit them directly from here or delete, or you can do it directly in here. So again, if you want to edit the text, just do this. We've just created some fairly generic copy in here. You might want to edit this, but it's fairly standard. So the first thing you got is the average keyword position. So obviously that's pulled through from Hike, shown average keyword rankings over time as a line chart. So there you go. That's just set for the date ranges, which is a week against a week. Again, if you wanted to change this, go into edit. And this is one of the how to edit a widget. You've got the widget name, which is what appears over here. The metric, the widget type, the date range. So this is using the report date range. But if you wanted to have a custom date range for that or any particular widget, then you can set it in the settings. And then you've got the chart settings. So use the report colors that you set. Show the legend. Legend is the key, which I had no idea what that meant. Legend position. So let me show you very quickly. There, these two here, you know, like average and average position. That's the legend apparently. So yeah, add that in. You can edit where that legend shows as well. So we've got it bottom center. Some people like to put it top and center. So I click top and center. There you go. You can see it's moved to the top there. So you can edit all of these, right? And then obviously when you save it, you can then create it as a template. Then I put top 10 ranking keywords. You might want to do more than the top 10 ranking keywords, but it's something to add. Let's say you want to do the top 20 ranking keywords in your report, or all of them, right? Come into here, click edit. You've got the metrics top keywords, the widget types of table, with limited results to 10. If you want to do the top 11 keywords results, click update. Now it's showing 11. And by the way, you'll see whenever you create a new widget, it kind of shrinks it like that, but you can expand it and change. Same for text blocks as well. You can do that and you can move it and play around, which is important actually when you're, because it's drag and drop. So if I want to move that up, it will only go as high as this, however big that box is. So you can really have a play around with these. It's a really nice drag and drop. Once you get used to it, right? Every drag and drop's a little bit different. Once you get used to it, it's a really nice drag and drop functionality within there. So yeah, so now I've got the top 11 keywords. You'll see also you've got the columns. You've got page, current position, and previous month. That's how I've set this one up. But let's say you didn't want to do previous month, you want to do previous day or previous week, or you want to get search volume in there. So let's say I get rid of page and I add search volume. Click update. Cool. So now I've got current position, previous month, and I've got search volume as well. So it depends on what your client likes to see or how you like to report to your client. But you have the flexibility then to decide what you want to include. Take the template that we've created and just edit it to whatever you want to do. Moving down. Okay, so we've got all traffic stats. So this is pulling through from GA now. So you can see here, I've kind of made sure it mentions this. This information is from GA. So this is all traffic over the date period set in the report. Obviously, if you hover over them, it shows you the data. And then top traffic channels, always a nice thing to show. Which channels are sending the traffic. Direct sending the most amount of traffic, then organic, etc., and what the difference has been between those two date ranges. So it takes the date range you've set and it works out the difference. Moving down, this is a very table-heavy page. You might not want to use this. You might. It's up to you guys. But traffic by device type, customers love to know, or colleagues love to know, where most of the traffic's coming from. Is it desktop, mobile, tablet? We get most of ours from desktop. Bounce rate by channel, goal completions by channel, goal conversion rate by channel. Now, if you're wondering, like, Andy, how did you create these widgets? I want to create a widget or an analytics box. I'll run through that in the second half of this webinar when I'm going through how to create a report from scratch. So don't worry, we'll run through all of that. And again, if you ever want to edit any of these, click edit. You can change all this good stuff. Cool. So then moving down, then it's just looking at the SEO traffic stats. So basically now just taking the GA data, but just filtering it just for SEO stats. So here you go. So this has got the nice kind of line graph and then these stat boxes. So this is another type of widget you can create. So you can create tables, you can create line graphs, you can create these nice stat boxes. It's completely up to you how you want to do it. However you think looks the best, is most on brand, that would be easiest for the customer to consume that information. You can really play around with it and choose whatever. You can do like pie charts, all of the good stuff. So we've kind of got these widgets here. So you can see here, this is like my OCD kicks in. These are slightly outlined. Well, you can just edit these boxes, right? So there you go. Now it's kind of in line. So it's kind of the drag and drop nature and the resizing of blocks. But again, something you'll get used to because every platform we ever use that has that drag and drop resize. They're all a little bit different, but it's really nice once you kind of get used to it. Moving down, top 10 landing pages from organic search. It's a nice thing to always show clients. Where's your SEO traffic? Where's it being sent to? What are the most popular pages? And again, I've set it to 10, but you can set it to 50, 100, as many as you want, right? Just by editing it. Then moving down, visibility stats is what I've essentially called stats from Google Search Console. So what we can grab from Google Search Console at the minute is fairly limited, but it's impressions and clicks over time. So you can do it as a line chart. And you can do it stat boxes as well. So, and show kind of your impressions and clicks or your data. Then local SEO. So we pull through all of the data here from within the insights section. So this is essentially all the Google My Business Insights data that you get in Google My Business, all of the reporting data they give you for a Google My Business listing. So at the top, you've got this line graph, which is for Google Maps search use, but we can change this, right? Because it's kind of, I don't know, I think everyone have a different metric they'll probably want to do here. So you've got search views, direction requests, phone calls, website clicks, local post stuff, photo views, products. Let's change it to map views, right? So how many people have viewed your business on a Google map? Click update. So now it's doing map views. So it updates automatically. So you might want to do a couple of those as line charts over time. Or here I've gone very stat box heavy with this. So you've got map views, search views, company searches, website clicks, phone calls. Essentially, these are all the metrics that you get through Google My Business Insights. So you can pull all of those through. So yeah, really, really nice to get that. By the way, I've seen there's some messages in the chat, which is great. I'll finish up in a couple of minutes, go through those questions before going into the second part of the webinar, which is how to create a report from scratch. And then here, keyword rankings from the local section. So if you have set up your rankings for Google Maps, then that's what we'll pull through into this widget here. Backlinks. So we pull through all the backlinks data from Hike. So you can pull through the top backlinks that the client's got over a particular date range or just over all time. One of the things which we're going to add very soon is bringing through the domain authority metrics that we have in there as well. So you can say like domain authority is increased by X% this month, or maybe show domain authority as a line graph over time, trust flow and citation flow. So that will be added very soon as additional widget. Okay, and here's where you can add in last month's SEO actions and upcoming SEO actions. So these will all be pulled through from the actions part of Hike, where it's where you have the live actions, which is like just when you go to the actions, and it shows you everything that you've got based on the number of hours that you set. And then if you click on the completed actions, that's what will be in here, right? So this one here is last month's SEO actions. So if we look at the table that I've created, and again, I'll show you how to create this from scratch, click edit. It's the completed actions widget. So it pulls through completed actions. And I've limited it to 20. Obviously, not much done on the Hike website in the last month, but you can set it to however many results you want. And you can choose between live actions, completed actions, hidden actions. I'm not sure why you'd want to add hidden actions onto the report, but hey, it's there anyway. And then you can do that. And then within this table, there's more columns you can do. Right? I've just got action, title, and time. I think that's probably the most important thing to show clients. But you can have the page, the priority, total action time, or the action type as well. So again, very customizable. And then upcoming SEO actions. So again, this just pulls through all of the live actions that are in the Hike platform based on the amount of time that you've set. So if in your actions you've set 8 hours, then it will show however many actions are remaining of your 8 hours. If you've set 2 hours, it will only pull through those of 2 hours. So make sure for this, if you're like, oh, there's not many actions in here, it's probably because there aren't many actions in your actions bit because your hours are set too small. Just know that it always will reflect that. So that is the template for SEO Report Expert. So if I go back to my reports, you will now see that you've got this SEO report here because I created this report from a template. So if I want to see the templates again, I can see the templates there. You can create a template. Okay, cool. Let me now jump into the questions. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, Brian Valentina. One of the bugs we've noticed is that if you select a date range on the calendar, click apply, and then decide to change dates, selector doesn't work anymore. I use Chrome and Windows 10. Okay, thank you very much, Brian. Yeah, I think for the moment, you'll probably just have to choose the date range when you create the report. So if I click create report, let me just move this chart out of the way, start from template, do this again. Select your date range here, for example, and make sure this is the date range you want with the comparison date range. That will then work. I think, yeah, like you mentioned, once you've done this, if you then go into the report and change the date ranges, it's not working properly. It is something we're aware of, but for the moment, just make sure you set it correctly here, and then it works fine. Let me just go back to the chat. Question, I asked about the ability to move pages around. Yes, we are. We are. That's something we're going to roll out hopefully very soon. It's very much needed. So for everyone else, if you've got a report and you're creating pages, at the moment, there's no ability to move pages up and down. So let's say you're like, oh, I'd like a summary page now at the top. There's no ability to do that at the minute. You have to create the report again and start. The developers have worked on the functionality to do that. They've finished testing. It's just a matter of getting that live. So hopefully that should be very soon, Dave. So thank you on that. A time frame, ASAP is what I'd like. Joachim, you got to leave. No worries. I'll send out the recording. And for everyone, I'll send out the recording, everyone, to all of our customers. So you'll get this, by the way. Can you upload branded fonts? Kate's asked. And not at the moment, no. You have to choose between one of our pre-selected fonts. Okay, great. That is all the questions from that. So let me just have a quick swig of my tea. My throat's a bit dry. And now let us run through how to create a report from scratch. Just before I do that, if you guys use these templates, I'll tell you, yeah. So you've used a template, right? Now you want to see templates, create a template. Let's say you'd taken my template, you created a report from it, you'd edited it, and now you want to use that as a template for your website or for all of the websites you look after. This is how you do it, right? So this is the screen you land on. This is the report we've just created based on the template. It's like Inception, this confusing. Based on the template I created a report. Now we've edited that report and we want to use it as a template for all of our other websites or just moving forwards. So what you want to do is click See Templates, Create Template. Now you can create a blank template. You can start from a template, or you can clone an existing report. So what you do is clone an existing report and do that. And then that creates that as a template. So if we do that, so the settings very similar to what you had before, but there's one key thing to know. You've got the scope of the template here. What this means is that template, how should it be used within your Hike account? So this is really relevant for agencies, for example. So if you're an agency and you've got multiple websites in Hike, you create a template and go, do you know what? This template's nice. I want to be able to use this template across all of the websites in my account. Well, under template scope of the template, you choose organization. That means then that template will be, you can use that template across all of your clients. So that even if you navigate to another one of your websites and click templates, you'll see the one you created here because you set it as organization. If you set it for website, it does website only, which means that template can only be used on this specific website. There is a third one called local. That's just for us guys. You wouldn't see that. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. That's how you can create a template as an agency, or if you just got multiple websites in your account, and then be able to use that template across multiple websites. Great stuff. Okay, so now let's go to reports and let's create a report from scratch. So this is, I don't know, maybe some of you guys will create a report from scratch. Maybe you want to do this than using the template. I don't know, but I think what would be good about this is just teaching you, I think, more the fundamentals of how a report is built and how you can create these widgets and use widgets. So let's do report name. Let's call it Andy's new report. Okay, so portrait DM sans. Select date range. I want it to be, again, a previous one. So I'm going to do the previous period and click apply. Report colors. I'm just going to choose this one. Select. So you'll have to do all of that, right? Header settings. Okay, add your logo in. Let's see if it will let me do logo again. Like logo white. Great. Header text. So this is the text that goes at the top. So it will pre-populate something in here as Hike SEO report. I'm just going to put it as like SEO report. I think that'll look nicer. Header color, I want it to be same as what it was before. Header text, yep. Header font, all the same. Footer settings. Let's put Andy at hikeseo.co. Footer color, I want it to be the same color. I don't want to have a different color footer. It looks strange. And then the footer text color, font, page numbers. Awesome. Click create. Report created successfully. Okay, and now let's go to report. So what you'll see is a completely blank report. So let's say we wanted to create just a cover page like we did before. So on page one, add widget. Now, these are all the widgets you can use. I'll go into them in a bit more detail, but first I want to create just a text like we did on the other one. So I'll click text, and you only have one option within there called text area. And I'm going to put SEO report. This is example text. I want this to be large in font, so I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to go over here, I'm going to click custom, and I like 65px for that. And this example text, I'm going to set as just large. And then I'm going to centralize it. There we go. Okay, now click create. Okay, so you can see it puts it at the top of the page. Always puts it as high as it possibly could. But I want this to be in the middle of the page. What I like to do first is kind of just resize it a little bit and then drag. So there you go. I've kind of got it centralized. There's no way of actually knowing if it's centralized. You can kind of zoom out. That kind of works quite nicely. So yeah, that looks about right to me. So that's how you'd create a kind of an opening page or just a page with a bit of text on. So now let's add a new page. Now you click add page, because what you can do is you can keep adding widgets to the same page and just keep extending the size of that page. There's no problem with that. The only thing is then when you go to export it as a PDF, it can look a bit strange because you'll have a page that will suddenly finish halfway or wherever it kind of gets to. So yeah, just something to bear in mind there. So I want to create another page. So page 2. So let's go down to page 2. So add a widget. These are all the widgets that we've got to play with, right? So we've got different categories. We've got Google Analytics, Google Search Console, keywords, citation, backlinks, actions, reviews, insights, local posts, local rankings, and then we've got these kind of 3 generic ones, which is text, images, and table. Table is one of my most favorite things. It's absolutely brilliant. You can copy and paste from a spreadsheet and it formats it into a table. So for example, like let's say on the previous template report, we have the hype, actions completed and actions to do. Let's say you had a spreadsheet of that and actually it had stuff that was outside of hype and maybe you did some web development work or whatever it may be. And actually you just wanted to get that spreadsheet into hype. You just click on table, paste, copy and paste what you had, and it would format it into a lovely, nice table in the report. Really, really nice. In the images, again, you can put an image straight in. But let's say we want to do a Google Analytics widget. Now, what you'll see is if you click on it, you've got these different options. All traffic, organic traffic, paid traffic, social traffic, other traffic, and custom widget. So these are pre-made widgets you can already do. So all traffic will just be traffic from all channels, essentially. So, and then you've got all of these different widgets. You've got the name of the widget, so all sessions. So that's just all sessions from all channels. And then in brackets, it will have the format of that widget. So this is a line chart versus a stat box. So if I click line chart, for example, you see it, there you go. It loads in like that. What I like to do is obviously just create a little text box and just put all channels, line chart. So if you want to add a header in, basically, I like to do large and then click create. Right, okay, so with this is really important. You'll see the size of this text box is quite big, right? So it defaults to quite a large text box, which means if I wanted to put this above there, kind of looks a bit funny, right? You've got the header, big, massive gap before the actual line chart. So let's just shrink this down. Oh, there you go, just shrink that down to there. Now I can drag this all the way up, and there you go. I've got, actually, it looks a bit ugly. Got a nice header with the actual thing. So that's an example of how I'd create that. Let's show you an example, Google Analytics, all traffic. Let's do a stat box so you can see what that looks like. So click on that. Cool. And again, pardon me, you can see the size of the widget's really big. So what you need to do there is you need to shrink it down and then you can format it and play with it. So there you go. So that's the difference between a visitor's box and a line chart. But let's say I wanted to have, oh, I don't know, brain's gone blank. Okay, let's continue here. So that's all traffic. All the other things you can do. Top 10 channels table. So this is kind of important, right? This shows you, okay, which are the channels that sent traffic, visitors previous, and the difference. But let's say I want to change this into a bar chart. Now, you can see over here, you've got all traffic. You've got it as a table or a bar chart. If I want to edit it, I could just do this. I click edit. Okay, and in here is how you build it from scratch. We'll do this in a second, but the widget type table. So let's say I wanted to do that as a bar chart. Click it as a bar chart, keep everything the same, and hopefully, yeah, there we go. You've got the bar chart. It won't do a comparison in the bar chart, but it does show. And actually, this is actually quite a nice visual way of showing, you know, just how much traffic you get from certain channels over others. So that's one way you can do it. And again, if you just want to delete it, click delete, and it's gone really, really quickly. So let's create a custom. Okay, so you'll notice at the bottom, custom widgets. This is where there's lots of widgets in here that we've already created for you. And it might have everything that you need for your SEO reports. There might be a widget for everything you want. And if so, it'd be a miracle. There's no way that we've created every widget that all of you guys will ever want. There'll be some things you'll be like, oh, it doesn't pull through this bit that I want to get, right? Okay, if that's the case, so we've got organic, paid, but if none of those are hitting what you need, use this custom widget at the bottom. So custom widget. So let's just call it Andy's widget. Again, the only reason this is important is what it names this on the left. So it's easy for you to understand, especially if you're creating templates from it. All right, so the metric. First, you choose the metric. What is the metric that you want? So visits, session, bounces, bounce rate as a percentage, total session duration, average session duration, page views per session, goal completions, and goal conversion rate. So let's say I wanted to look at goal conversion rate. Yeah, it's goal conversion rate. Leave as a line chart for the minute and date range. Got two more settings to do. First is analytics. Analytics settings. Dimension. So let's say I wanted to look at conversion rate across all the different channels. So what's my conversion rate from SEO compared to my conversion rate from direct or social or email or paid, etc. I split by dimension and I choose channel. But let's say I actually wanted to look at what my conversion rate was by country. I select country, or by city, or by device, or by refer. Let's do device actually, because I've not actually done this before. So I want to look at conversion rate by device. Which device has got a higher conversion rate? So click device. Limit results, probably limit it to all because there's not going to be hundreds, there'll only be a few. Sort by value, that will just make sure it's in descending order. Now I can choose a Google Analytics filter on top of dimension. So what this is looking at is the conversion rate according to device across all channels. Actually, let me just create it very quickly. I'm going to do maybe a table. Table is kind of the safest one always to do. Let's click create. Okay, great. So desktop, highest conversion, tablet next, then mobile. But this is across all traffic. Let's say I just wanted to look for organic traffic. How would I do that? I'd come back into here and I'd set a Google Analytics filter. And you can filter by medium, channel, or source. Medium and channel fairly similar. Just GA have some weird little idiosyncrasies where you can't filter by channel, whereas you can filter by medium and vice versa. So say I set channel, then exactly match. You've got the different options here. So now I can say, okay, right, now I'll just show it for organic search. Click update. Okay, and now you can see our organic conversion rate, our conversion rate by device just for organic search. That's basically how you do it. That's the level of granularity you can get to with this report. So you can really have a play around in terms of what you can do. Hopefully, you'll find this helpful, that if there isn't already a pre-made widget, that the ability to come into here, set your metric, set your widget type, however you want it to be, where it's a line chart, area chart, pie chart, donut chart, bar, horizontal bar, radar, stat boxes, table. And then you can split it by dimension. So dimensions you can do: channel, country, city, device, the referrer, the landing page. And then you can do a filter in terms of what the channel is, the medium is, or the source is. So there is a lot that you can do, and it would take me hours to go through all the different permutations the permutations of what you can apply here. But hopefully it gives you guys what you need. One thing I'd really love from you guys is if there's something that you just can't create. Let's say there is an analytics widget, or any widget, perhaps even from Hike, that just there isn't an existing widget within the report builder, please let us know, because what we want to do is build out the widgets over time, really not just based on what we think would be the best widgets, we've already done that, but based on the ones that you think are the best for you and for your clients. Like, oh, Andy, it'd be great if you had this widget as a pre-made one, or it'd be great if we could do this in here. and just let us know, because then we can build out over time. And then we're building features and updates based on what you actually want, rather than what we're guessing you want, which is, that never aligns, promise you. Cool. So now let's have a look at some of the other widgets. So you can see here, I've kind of used up this page, right? So I can continue to add widgets. So let's add another one. Goal completions by channel. Very similar to that. Okay, you see here, it shows you end of page. So I know now, oh, I probably want to move this, or I probably want to start a new page, because if I export this as a PDF, what will happen is it will, oh, I wonder if this will work actually. Maybe in browser. Okay, so you can send this to your colleagues or your clients and just send them this URL if you wanted, or you can download it. Bear in mind, if you're white label, it won't be my.hub.marketing, it will be whatever your white label domains. Yeah, if I scroll down. Oh, okay. So it doesn't show it on the live preview because it expands the page. But if you download it as a PDF, because PDFs are set to A4 size, it will just have this kind of weird, it'll be cut off there, then it'll be all blank space below the footer. So yeah, it's just something to kind of help you understand. If you're going to send it as PDFs, you probably want to not go over a page. So then let's delete that. So what I do in this scenario is I click add page, click on page 3, and then add the widget. So goal conversion rate by channel. You'll see now it's been added on this next page. And again, then you can add in all your text, move everything around. So yeah, let's have a look at some of the other widgets you can do. So obviously it's not just GA. By the way, thanks for all the chats. I can see I've got 7 messages. I'll get through this very quickly and then we'll run through those final questions. Widget. Okay, so Google Search Console. Clicks and impressions, you can have as a line chart, stat boxes, or again, custom widget. So for all of these, they'll be pre-made and there'll be a custom widget for you to make it yourself. So keywords, average keyword position line chart. That was in the SEO report template I took you for, which shows average ranking over time. And that's across all of your keywords. It's a feature we have in the keyword ranking page in Hype. You can see your average ranking. That's what's being pulled through in here. All keyword ranking, so every single keyword you've got. So if we click that, it'll be every keyword that you've got. Whereas if you choose keywords top 10, it will just do that. And then let's say you want us to do top 20, keywords, custom widget. So average position, no, I want it to be top keywords. I want it to be a table. I want to limit the results to 20. With the visible columns, I want the keywords, don't want the page, I want the current position. I don't want previous day or previous week, I want previous month and search volume. Just an example, by the way. Click create. There you go. That's where it is. So that's how you create it using a custom widget. Other widgets that we've got, backlinks. So all your top backlinks, new backlinks found, top 20, top 50. Like I say, one thing we're going to be adding into this is domain authority, trust flow, citation flow, tracking that over time. So you can have as a stat box, you can have as a line chart, show your clients, hey, we're increasing your domain authority. The work that we're doing is increasing your domain authority. Here it is, and show them. Actions. So you've got completed actions as a table, live actions as a table, and you've got as a custom widget. I believe if you click on, let's say, live actions, it may be, if you click edit, oh, it's all results. So if you set your clients' hours to, or your hours to 50 hours, and you limited it to all results, it would pull through, if there's 50 hours worth of actions, it would pull through maybe like pages and pages, a column, a table that'd be pages and pages long. Probably not the best thing to do. So that's why you'd want to limit results there. But yeah, you have these pre-made ones already in terms of live and completed. Custom widget if you wanted to create it from scratch. Like I say, you can show hidden actions as well if that's something you wanted to report. Reviews. So this is nice. This is pulling through reviews from Google My Business. So if you've added Google My Business into Hike, we can pull through the data from there. So reviews all, or new reviews. So new reviews, I believe, if we have a look, that's done. I think it's within the last, uses the report date range. That's right. So you can choose your location. So if you've got multiple locations, it does it there. All reviews, so you can do positive reviews, negative reviews, or reviews with no response. Limit results if you want to. You can choose what the date range to be. So if it's new reviews, it's just looking at reviews that you've accrued over the time period that you've set the date range to be. If you wanted it to be all reviews over all time, you'd select all date, or you can set a custom date range, right? And then you can filter, you can sort by, you can filter by stars as well if you want to get really granular. And then that's the visible columns. So let's have a look here. There you go. So you see the new reviews being pulled through there. That's over the last, what's the date range? Last week or so. And by the way, if anyone would like to leave Hike a review, that would be much appreciated. On our Google My Business listing would be ACE. We actually run every single month. People don't know. We run a competition where everyone that leaves a review in that month, doesn't matter what the star rating is, everyone that leaves a review gets put into a Wheel of Fortune type spin, and whoever gets picked gets a $50 Amazon gift card. We do it every single month. So if you want to enter, head over to our Google My Business or our Facebook page and leave us a review, and then you'll go into that draw every single month. Awesome. Nice little plug there. Other widgets, Insights, which I showed you earlier, Google My Business Insights. Again, that'll only come if you've connected Google My Business. Local posts, local rankings, and then you have these extra widgets at the top to add in a text box, images, or table. Right, I'm going to move on for this quickly because I want to show you one last thing, is this scheduling report. So this is a really nice feature. If you want to send these reports out automatically to your colleagues, yourself, you know, if you're a small business, you just want to keep on top of how your SEO is doing, you probably want to set up a monthly report to go to yourself. Keyword rankings, traffic, actions to be completed, for example. But you can set it all here. So let's say I click schedule report. Right, when would you like the report to be delivered? You have different options. You can choose just once, choose it daily, weekly, or monthly. I'm not sure daily will be used very often. Weekly might do. Doubt it, but monthly is probably the most popular one, right? So you set monthly, start date, when do you want it to start? When do you want the first report to go out? So let's say I want it to go out today at 5:30, and I want it to end much further into the future. And then what date range do you want that to be? So what this will do is this will then, when it creates that report on that date, instead of taking the report date range that you'd set, it will update it. So if you want it to be the last week or the last month or the last 7 days or the last 30 days, and then you can choose whether you want a comparison. So let's say I want it the last month and I want it to the previous month. And then you've got a little bit of information down here. So just check over that, make sure that the next delivery, report date range, comparison day range, etc., last delivery is all set up correctly. When that's done, click continue. Then you can actually edit the email that's going to be sent to yourself or to whoever. So you've got the recipient email address. So I want to send it to Kieran. So, hey, Kieran, this is how we're getting on with our SEO. And you can CC in people. Say, I want to CC in myself. So I always got a copy of the report. There you go. And subject. So the subject line, hi, SEO report. Now in here, you can compose the email that gets sent with this. You can choose whether to attach a report PDF, and the report PDF is simply a PDF of the report. Don't know why I had to explain that. And then you've got the actual email body. It's a WYSIWYG editor like the rest of it. It's really nice to use. And you have all these variables here that you can add in. So let's say, hello, Joe Blogs. Here's a link to preview the report link for from date to date that I've compiled for simple URL. If you want to know what each of those would be when the email's sent, click and hold, and there you go. Hey, hello, Joe Blogs. Here's a link to preview the Andy's new report for the 1st of the 10th to the 31st of the 10th that I've compiled for Hike SEO. And you can set that as whatever you want, right? It's a complete WYSIWYG editor there. And then press save. So if I press save now, that means that's going to be scheduled for that time. And now if I go back to my reports, I can see Andy's new report. It's frequency, it's going to be sent monthly, and the next delivery is on the 29th of the 11th, today at 5:30. And then just to show you what that would look like, well, it just basically does what the WYSIWYG editor would do. So I didn't get that prepared as I thought I would. So yeah, pretty straightforward. Right, I think that's everything. I think it is. If you want to delete a report, tick it, click delete report. Anything else, you've got these. So the settings of the report, edit the report, download the report, preview the report, schedule. You can do everything from here as well. So I'm going to jump over to the chat and have a look at some questions. So if you guys got any questions now, whack them in the chat and I'll go through them now. Okay. Sorry, just swing. Oh, Giles, great, lots of questions. Okay, so Dave first. Question: if a client has access to do this as a do-it-yourself site, do they see the reporting capability? So yes, they do. I believe it's going to be added as a user permission, so you can decide whether you want them to or not. So yes, it is white labeled. It doesn't mention hike anywhere in there. The one thing that if you have white labeled a platform, it's a really important part. If you've white labeled hike, then the report builder, you can give, if you're reselling hike under, a different, your own brand, let's say I've called it Andy's SEO tool. And I'd white labeled it, instead of calling it My Hike Marketing, it's andysseotool.com. Then I can give access to the people that do it yourself, are buying it, doing it. They won't see the schedule unless I have gone into my white label settings and set up a custom email domain. So you can set up a custom email domain, which means then all emails that are sent from the platform will be sent from Andy at andysseoreport.com. Let's say I put that in as my custom domain. As long as I've done that, then what that means is then your DIY users will see the schedule report, because that means if they click schedule report and had it sent to them, it will be sent from that custom email domain. Whereas if you haven't set up that custom email domain, they won't see the schedule report, basically. They won't have access to that. I hope that's answered that question. Giles, I have a couple of questions. I was creating a couple of things. How do you force a template to save changes? I believe it updates on the fly. So when you actually add a widget, it just updates it. So one thing you want to do, actually, the question here might be, okay, so when you load up, you'll see this see templates. Over here, you've got your templates. You can edit the template. So that's where you'll want to go into the template itself and edit it. Let's go back to the chat. I had trouble when I made changes, for example, moved a widget around using drag and drop. These were not saved, so I lost them when I exited the template builder. When you're removing the drag and drop, well, I'd say sometimes you might just try refreshing the page. That usually works. It can be a bit of an issue with drag and drop. That's usually fine if you just refresh the page, and it should save them. Yeah, I'll have a little play with that, Giles, and speak to the developers tomorrow morning, but that should save them. But yeah, leave that one with me. Would it be possible to add a date range preset of last 90 days for quarterly reports? Like I say, with regards to those, we just did, we've just copied what Google Analytics does, because there are so many. We could do loads. We could do quarterly. We could do thirdly. We could do twice a year. We had to kind of stop it at some point. So we just copied the date range that GA did, because it was just pretty simple. So probably not, Giles, but if it's really a pain, let us know, and I'll speak to developers and see if that's something they can add in. Will text block font colors be customizable via hex code? Text block font colors. So let's have a look. Can you change text block font colors? So go to reports. So let's go into here. Let's edit the report. Let's click on here. So this is a text block. Click edit. Does this let you change color? Oh, I get you. So what you're saying is, do you want this to be a hex choice? I'll find out for you on that one. I'm not sure, because obviously it's the WYSIWYG editor. I never try to make assumptions. I'm always wrong when it comes to development things. I've learned. Kira's told me off many times in the past. So I don't know, but I'll find out for you on that one. Let's get back to the chat. Will layout options for the header and footer become available at a later stage? So you can always edit them. So once you've created the report, if you want to go in, just click up here, edit header. What that does is it opens up this entire bit where you've got footer settings, header settings, and report settings. So you can change them at any point. All right, let's get back into here. Dave, some of the table column heading text would love to modify their name so I could fit more columns on the table. Any plans to do that? No plans to do that at the moment. There's no ability to change the columns headings on the tables. They're set as they are. I'm not sure if that's something we could ever do. Lucy's got something like that. Cool. I missed. Oh, okay. So this is a great point. So Jim, Jim, you're a white label user. The reason that you don't have the ability to schedule a report is actually what I mentioned before to Dave. So because you're a white label user, you'll need to set a custom email up in your white label settings. So I wonder if I can show you here. Going a little bit off topic here, guys. So if you're not white label, it's kind of irrelevant to you, but stick with me. So if you go to white label, Jim, and then go down here, email, set up your custom email. Once that's done, then the schedule will be there. Because basically what we don't want to happen is your customers are using your white label instance of Hike. We don't want them to schedule an email, have it sent to them, and it comes from mail@hikeseo.co, because that's not a white label experience. So you'll need to set that. Let's go back into here. Upvote for next color choice for branding purposes. Oh, I'm assuming Dave there, text. Yeah, okay, this is why this is such good feedback to do stuff like this. I don't think it's anything we've mentioned. Are you going to have an option for US letter size PDFs? Great question. I will speak to the guys on that one as well. Really great question. Right, that's all of the questions. Oh, cheers, Charles. Let me go for this. Perfect. Let me know to demo. Completely understand. Thanks. What I meant was, could the layout of the header itself be editable, i.e. move the logo around to another position? So for everyone else, what Giles means is in here, could you move, for example, that logo there and that text over there? Not at the moment. That would require, I guess, additional functionality to move that over. It's something I can mention to the guys. If we get it requested enough, then potentially we can look into it, but there's no way to do it at the moment. Right, okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone. For those that have stuck around to the end, really, really appreciate it. Hope you found it useful. I hope you find the report builder useful. I hope it's going to save you time and just keep you updated. You know, even if you're a small business, I think it's really important. Go in here, set up the SEO report line, have it emailed to you every month. Then you know how your SEO is getting on. If you're an agency doing it for clients, set up your perfect template, use it across all of them, set up the scheduler. I suppose the problem with the scheduler, it depends how everyone reports, but you can't add custom text to it. So you might want to use a template and then just send it to them, but everyone's choice there.